we're moving into a world where people want to be able to have, and they're not just trying to buy a product or a brand anymore. They're trying to be able to work with the person that runs the brand. So it's a human world where we want to be able to understand who that person is.
All right. Hey, we are live on Path to Mastery. Today we were with Mr. Joshua B. Is that right? The B. Lee. How's it going, sir?
It's going well, David, man. Excited to be able to be here today. I mean, you and I have been talking back and forth. I've been friends, for a while on Clubhouse especially. So looking forward to jumping in the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, it's good to have you here. And tell us, well, first off, I mean, you're an authority on LinkedIn, and that's how we originally met. I think it was in the social media room, right? The room they do on Saturdays. You're in there, I'm in there. And
I mean, I think it was even before that, man. I mean, you and I have been doing, I've been on Clubhouse for the last year and a half. It almost seems since, not even like 2020. So, it's, we've been going back and forth on rooms. We got a little bit deeper after going on that Saturday room and really kind of jumped into it a lot more.
Have you been on, I don't even think Clubhouse been around since 2020. I don't.
Oh,
yeah. I jumped on, I'm going on a year. March was a year for me. So,
okay. Yeah, no, people like myself, Emily Lyons, Gary Henderson, we've got John Lee jumped in. We all kind of jumped in the early December of 2020 is when we kind of started. So just right before 2021.
So you got in early.
All right, yeah.
Awesome. I'm looking for some of my peeps to pop in where I can have somebody, because we are streaming on Clubhouse here, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just started doing this. This is the first time I've used StreamYard, second time I've streamed on Clubhouse. So I'm an expert on Clubhouse, but not yet on StreamYard. So that said, though, they call you the dopamine dealer of LinkedIn. Why do people call you the dopamine dealer of LinkedIn?
Man, it was a podcast. I'm not sure if you've ever heard the podcast Hustle and Flowchart. So, I mean, that's a good friends of mine that actually run that podcast. We kind of went through, and I was going through the whole process of what I do on LinkedIn and how I actually, work with people. And when the podcast launched, it was the dopamine dealer of LinkedIn, and it kind of stuck because, David, I mean, everyone kind of looks at, especially LinkedIn, as a B2B platform. We've got the B2B or B2C, right? Business to business or business to consumer. But I mean, in all actuality, I mean, it's all H to H. It's all human to human. It's really, when we're kind of looking at this aspect, is every company is run by another human being. Most marketers forget that. And so when you actually look at that, dopamine is a human characteristic. It's an endorphin that we all have. And if you're really being able to follow the human algorithm rather than the LinkedIn algorithm or the Instagram or Facebook, when you can get that and put someone in a flow state through the hits of dopamine, it's amazing what you can do to be able to have a conversation. Conversation can turn to relationship, and a relationship can create opportunity. But so many people miss that on LinkedIn.
You would think like there'd be more of that on like a Clubhouse. Is that true, or is it the same?
I think we're having a better conversation here on Clubhouse. I don't think we get spammed as much, right? I mean, when you're on Clubhouse, kind of going through that whole piece, we're building conversations, starting relationships. I mean, like you and I mean, we've talked so many different times in Clubhouse rooms. I feel I know you, right? Like we've been going back. You and I have never met in person. It's harder to do that on LinkedIn because really so many people are just trying to be able to put their business front up, and they're not letting that human side shine through. And so that's kind of where I see those shifts. And you can do it on LinkedIn. I mean, look, man, I mean, the reason you and I first connected here recently, because it was so much hubbub around LinkedIn audio, right? Just like Clubhouse, LinkedIn launched their LinkedIn audio events, very similar to Clubhouse, but slightly different. And I'm one of the early beta creators. They got one of the first 200 people that got access into that because they're trying to be able to do that whole thing, right? To be able to hear someone's voice allows us to be able to get to know them. It allows us to be able to hear the inflections in their voice, their tonality, all those things. And I think it really helps you build that relationship faster.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's funny. Have you done any of the meetups yet? Like I've done 2 meetups, and it's wild because you meet people and you don't even know, like in some cases, I don't know who it is until I hear him speak. Have you experienced that? It's wild.
I haven't done any Clubhouse meetups yet. Clubhouse was so this week is South by Southwest here in Austin, Texas, a huge event. And Clubhouse was actually supposed to be here, and we were excited about kind of being at their activation. and they pulled out the last minute. So we haven't had any there. I've definitely done LinkedIn meetups, which is interesting because you get to see their face and you never actually hear their voice. So it's such a different thing to say, yeah, you go to Clubhouse, you're like, oh man, I've heard that voice. Now I connect. Used to, you do LinkedIn event meetups and you'd be like, oh, I see that person, but you've never heard their voice. And so I think we're starting to see that really shift of, I mean, dude, this is kind of where I see everything, right? Like it used to be everyone wanted to be seen, right? And now with the age of the audio influencer and what we're seeing with Clubhouse, with LinkedIn launching their audio, I just got early access to Amazon's new program as well too. They got an audio version, and it's all about the audio influencer. People don't want to be seen anymore; they want to be heard, right? And that's the biggest shift I'm seeing this whole revolution.
Interesting. I'm hoping this is recording because I don't see any button anywhere that says it's recording, and it's not asking me like to record. So
if not, do we record at least on Clubhouse?
Well, Clubhouse actually is recording for us. So yeah, I guess worst case scenario, we will
try and see how to be able to leverage that.
I'm assuming it records automatically. Yeah, like I said, just everybody, I apologize. You guys think I'm a rookie. This is my 275th episode. I've had Mel Robbins on. I've had Josh Lee on now. I've had Gary V, and I can't even figure out a StreamYard, but it's good.
David, man, I'm excited. Look, I get to, pop your cherry on the StreamYard side, right? As they say, and kind of jump in. And from here on, it's going to be, clear sailing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And my friend Shawnee popped into Clubhouse. Thank you, Shawnee, for helping us out. Well, she's on the phone right now. Anyways, she can't hear me. All right. So entrepreneur, business owner, author, coach, marketer, blessed husband and father. Way back in 2003, you built your career in online marketing with clients like MySpace. Oh gosh, MySpace, huh?
Oh yeah, that'll bring you back, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a MySpace account anymore. Google, with advertising spending $500 million, which generated over 35 trillion online impressions for those companies. You've been lucky enough to build 16 companies, online marketing to coaching to web design and more. Man, MySpace, wow, that's crazy. You kind of brought me right back.
What will? I mean, it's funny in these generations now, and potentially some of the people listening in Clubhouse probably never had a MySpace account. And my wife always laughs. She's like, you always age yourself because people don't always think that I'm as old as I am in my mid 40s. And I mentioned, I mentioned MySpace is one of my first clients, and they're like, okay, I see that now. What's going on? So yeah, man, dude, it was crazy. 2003, 2004. Started in the online advertising business, kind of got blessed and cursed to be able to kind of fall in with some people that were, in that MySpace world, working with Google prior to that and Yahoo. And we actually helped them build one of the first social media ads to be able to monetize their traffic that basically everything is really based around today. So it's crazy to be able to kind of think back that, I had such a hand in, really monetizing a lot of the social media that started out then and where we are now.
It's super cool, man. So I want to jump into LinkedIn audio, and that's LinkedIn audio. Now, interestingly enough, I signed up as I think I was approved, but I don't know. I haven't gotten anything yet.
Yeah.
Although I do have my little video now on my profile picture. That's like the first step, I guess.
So you got the creator mode on, and you're getting the video, getting all
mode.
those different aspects. Yeah. Now they just launched, about a month and a half ago. So it's just really getting started. So they initially only gave they had the LinkedIn Creator 100. That was where LinkedIn actually kind of pushed back into the creators and actually selected 100 creators to be able to give $15,000 to be able to really start monetizing and helping them build better content on LinkedIn. And then when I was that part of that second 100 half that got access into and working with LinkedIn directly to be able to build out their new audio platform. So initially there's only 200 of us. Now I think there's only 500 that are actually in the beta that can create and host rooms, but all 800 million people on LinkedIn can actually listen and participate.
Got it. So why LinkedIn audio as opposed to say a Clubhouse or Fireside or any of the other audio platforms now?
Well, it's funny, early on in Clubhouse was there. I have access to Fireside, just got access to Amazon, but David, dude, the dopamine dealer of LinkedIn. I kind of gotta play to my strengths, right? So, it's still early on. I mean, my wife and I, and a lot of people know my amazing wife, Rachel B. Lee, and her and I host rooms on Clubhouse all the time. but we also host weekly rooms on LinkedIn Audio because I've spent so much time. I mean, like, David, you've been on Clubhouse long enough, right? Like, we go in, we hear these people like, hey, I'm a trillionaire. I've done everything. And you're going,
everybody's a trillionaire on Clubhouse, bro. Come on.
Exactly.
I'm a gazillionaire.
At least on LinkedIn, if you and I are talking, I can actually go pull up your profile immediately and be able to see exactly what you've done and where you've been. At least gives a lot more. Now, anyone can create any profile they want, but usually on LinkedIn, it's a little bit more realistic and incredible. So that's the beautiful thing that I like about LinkedIn Audio is I can actually go through and be able to leverage a platform that people aren't always leveraging. We've been kind of doing it for years, but now when I'm having conversations with people, I can verify. It's not just, it's trust and verify, right? And be able to move forward and have that conversation.
All right. What is the main difference though? Like, so one of the things with LinkedIn that I find interesting is just the amount of people that like, just, I'm not even sure what they're asking me half the time. Like, you want to get a coffee? Can we jump on a call?
You mean
you have 5 minutes?
all the spammers, right? They're going to send out 1,000 messages.
I've never seen anything like that.
Dude, this is the biggest thing, right? I mean, LinkedIn tries to battle it all the time, and we kind of go through it as much as possible. But it's the people that go, I'm going to send out 1,000 messages, and if I get that one sale, yay, I got a sale. When all actuality, all you did was piss off 999 people. And there's a better way to be able to do it because they're not even taking the time to be able to build a relationship. And I mean, that's that whole piece. Like, how do we actually not just go through, and people use things like Sales Navigators, LinkedIn's built-in CRM system. It's a great, powerful tool, but all they're doing is going, hey, David, I see you got a podcast. Me too. Let's connect. And then 2 seconds later, they pitch you, right? So, we kind of go through it and look at it a lot differently. Like, how do I
what's the Sales Navigator? What is that?
Sales Navigator is LinkedIn's built-in CRM system. So it's like usually about $100 a month in the States here. And what you can be able to do is I can go in and go, I want to be able to find people in doing podcasts that have been doing it for over 5 years that, post on LinkedIn regularly, right? Being able to go in, or that are in this specific, only in the United States or only in Austin, Texas, wherever it might be. So you can really get your list down and very targeted. Now, the thing that most people don't use, which is super powerful on that, is you can actually even target it down even tighter, which is who are those people have actually posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. Now, because I want to know that, because the reason why, and again, why you kind of look at it, like, David, if I asked you, like, why does everyone in this world, I don't care who you are, first and foremost, above all else, why do people post online?
Attention, I guess. That would be my guess. I don't know, right?
Well, like, people go in, right? They'll say attention, they'll go to get clients, advocacy, whatever it is, but we all post. We've been conditioned over the last 20 years to look for those little hits of dopamine we all get when someone likes or comments.
I should have picked up on that from the dopamine. True.
So that's that whole piece, right? Like, so when you can actually see these people on LinkedIn, they posted, well, I don't care who you are. You could be, a sales rep or the CEO of a company. If you're posting online, you want that conditioning too. You want that like or comment. So how do you get them? Like, give first, become a dopamine dealer, like their post. Like, if I saw one of your posts on LinkedIn, David, I'm going to like it. I'm going to comment on it. And then I'm going to reach out and say, David, man, I saw your recent post, man. I just want to say thank you. Because I always love to start with appreciation. I think there's a lack of appreciation in this world for the little things. And then go, man, I enjoyed X, Y, and Z. Isn't that a much more human way to be able to connect? Because I gave that dopamine hit first. And then I said, man, I just want to say thank you for posting great content. And now I can start a conversation with you because you're actually hearing me.
That's such a great tip for Clubhouse too. I mean, because the amount of people that just, even through Clubhouse, it's not as much as LinkedIn yet, but just, people, hey, can we jump on a call? Like,
oh, dude, I'm getting it all. I'm starting to see it now. Every time we're on Clubhouse. Yeah. Every time.
What does that even mean? Yeah. Like, what? Yeah. Anyway, I'm like the time Nazi. It's just like, that's the worst thing you do to me is waste my time. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah. So we got some people popping into Clubhouse. Thank you guys for hanging out on Clubhouse and Breakfast with Champions. Follow the club, and this is Mr. Glenn Lundy's club. Lets us use it, and Glenn is a rock star. So make sure you're following the club, and they pop off a lot of rooms. The interesting thing about doing this, Joshua, is I feel like I'm distracted because I'm trying to pay attention to the phone. I'm trying to pay attention to you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on, which is interesting.
Well, I
But
mean, you do a podcast and be able to launch on Clubhouse, man. That's hats off to you. Because
getting better.
We'll use Clubhouse because LinkedIn's discoverability on their audio rooms is still really low. So what we'll do is we'll use Clubhouse because I have, over 40,000 followers on Clubhouse. So I'll use that and I'll launch a room in Clubhouse and I'll pin the link to the LinkedIn audio room and drive people from Clubhouse over to LinkedIn so they can find us because there's better discoverability. But like, I'm just casting over there. We're not actually paying attention to the room at all. So for you to be able to do the podcast and try and pay attention to the room, it's impressive.
Well, I would say there's no such thing as multitasking, but if there was, I'd be okay at it. So basically, based on the software I'm looking at, we are on YouTube right now, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So,
oh, dude, look at us.
Is that? I don't know. I can't confirm that, but I'm going to open another tab right now. But let's for people listening, let's tell people what's the first step now. First off, why should they go set up a LinkedIn audio account first off, and then what would be the next step for them?
Well, here's the whole piece, man. Not everyone can be able to do it because they're still in beta. So right now, the first thing you want to be able to do if you want to be able to get access to all these new features, because LinkedIn, just like every other platform, this is, we continue to be able to see this whole, what people call as a digital revolution, right? We're seeing blockchain come out. We're seeing more creators getting paid for their time and energy. We're seeing all this, but it's a human revolution, right? We're giving so much more power to the people. So same thing on LinkedIn, they're giving more power to the creator, people creating content on these platforms, just like we are. Like right now, you said we're doing YouTube, we're Facebook, we're LinkedIn, we're Clubhouse, we're everywhere. Well, how are we actually, your time is money, my time is money, right? Like how are we actually being able to do that? So a lot of these platforms are giving back to the creators. LinkedIn created the creator mode. And when you're on your LinkedIn profile, the first thing you want to do is go on their profile. And then right below your about section, you'll have a dashboard and it says turn creator mode on. And what that does is not only it allows you to be able to signal to LinkedIn that, hey, I'm going to create content, right? I'm on LinkedIn. I'm creating content. I want you to look at me. But it also lets them know going, hey, I want the new stuff. So when you do that, turning creator mode on, first and foremost, gets you in line to be able to get access to LinkedIn audio. It gives you access to LinkedIn Live, which not everyone had before. It gives you access to a cool new feature called newsletters, where you actually turn your articles on LinkedIn into an actual newsletter and be able to gain followers that subscribe to that. Super powerful piece as well, too. So that's how you get in line to be able to start getting access to new features on LinkedIn. And the reason why not? I want to be first mover advantage, right? I want to be the first person. There's a reason why a lot of us, on Clubhouse and a lot of these other platforms, we got on and we were able to gain tremendous amount more followers at a much faster rate. I remember back early of 2021, I should say. I mean, we were gaining on Clubhouse, we were gaining a couple hundred followers a day, if not a couple thousand. Now you're looking at a couple a day if you're lucky.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So same thing with LinkedIn, right? When we get early access to these things, you actually get a lot of that first mover advantage. And that's what on LinkedIn, I mean, the platform is growing by leaps and bounds. It was purchased by Microsoft about 5 years ago. So, they purchased it for like $23 billion cash. And I mean, look, with a behemoth like Microsoft behind them and where they're going, they're going to be adding new features. LinkedIn audio is just the first aspect of it. And it's not competing against Clubhouse because Clubhouse is more live audio. LinkedIn audio is live, but it's more event-based. And they're betting on the hybrid workspace. And so they're betting that you're going to be in the office and at home. And how are you going to be able to communicate and connect with other business professionals? And so they're doing that. And then they're also, their next feature release, which should be in a couple months, will actually shift from being able to just be straight audio to very similar to how Fireside has the video and audio.
I was going to ask you about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be the next feature they'll launch in there. But dude, they're still super early. A lot of bugs, a lot of issues, a lot of discoverability, but we are working directly with the LinkedIn product team and they're listening to us and taking in what we're trying to be able to do and trying to create the best product possible.
So can you pull some strings for me, man, and get me set up or what, bro? I mean, what's going on now that we're
Man. I mean, again,
I mean,
I've got a link to be able to sign up, because what you want to be able to do first is
I
once you
think
get
I'm
creator
signed up.
mode,
It has me signed up as a creator now, so I know that's the first
but we
step.
need to get you a creator manager. So they're
Okay.
actually having a creator team. And so after this podcast, man, I'll get you a link and you can fill that
Awesome.
out, and that'll like get you signed up to be able to request access to have a creator manager.
That'd be
And then
amazing.
you start working with someone at LinkedIn, and that starts getting the next access.
Yeah, because so listen, I've been accused of being a salesman, and I am. I'm a born salesman, and I love selling. That's what I love doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, and people on Clubhouse, they don't like, a lot of people don't like selling, right? That's the reality. It's fine. It's so, but I think LinkedIn is probably going to be a little bit more expected. Is that accurate? Like people expecting you to. Not selling at people. You get what I'm saying, though.
Man. It kind of goes back in. Look, I'm the same way. I mean, people, growing up, I mean, I was always the person that could understand how to be able to connect, mimic, and be able to go through. And, there's different ways to be able to sell and be able to go through, and I think on LinkedIn, there's a lot of people that do it the wrong way. You and I both know there's the right way to be able to sell someone, and there's the wrong way. I'd rather educate, inspire them, and convince them to want to work with me and choose that sale, rather than me trying to just sell a whole bunch of people and then they choose not. They're like, oh hell, what did I just buy? Right? Like you and I want that LTV, that lifetime value. And so if you do it the right way, and I know you've been doing it for a long time, you do it that way, that's the better way to be able to do it. I think that's the big shift that people get pissed off with LinkedIn is people don't know how to do it. Yeah. They're just going in there and they're pitching right out the gate without any kind of, hey, how are you? Even a transfer of names, right? You want to be able to, get to know someone first before you even kind of pitch or know that they have value. And instead they're going, hey, David, you want to jump on a call for 15 minutes? Like you told me in the beginning. Yeah. You're like, for what? Yeah. Right. Time's the only resource we can't get back. So tell me why I'm going to get on the call and get me excited about it before you try and pitch me on it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if it makes sense, I'll send you my schedule and link, and yeah, you can jump in the calendar, right?
Right, but you got to make that right sale.
Yeah, I don't even know you. Like, yeah, let's jump on you got 5 minutes for a call? Oh yeah, absolutely, bro. My cell phone number.
Happens all the time, and that's what pisses so many people off on LinkedIn, because people are just doing that 1,000 times a day and don't take any time to actually create a true value pitch on why someone should do it.
What is the biggest mistake you think? And then I'm going to open it up for some questions from some of the people on Clubhouse. What would you say is the biggest mistake that, we're making when it comes to selling online? Or is it what you just said?
I think it's just what I just said. I mean, look, take time out. We're not in that world. You and I have been doing this for a long time, where you could sell a high-end product or service through a landing page, right? We're moving into a world where people want to be able to have they're not just trying to buy a product or a brand anymore. They're trying to be able to work with the person that runs the brand. So it's a human world where we want to be able to understand who that person is and what their why is and how they can help me. We're not buying the brand anymore. We're buying the people. And that's where people miss out. They're not taking the time to humanize their marketing. Yeah,
I agree with that. So I'm going to open it up for some people on Clubhouse. If anybody has a question, feel free to raise your hand. If we've got a few people up on stage. Hold on, my phone's ringing. Shantae, if anybody has any questions, give us a hand raise. I don't see any hand raises. We got a few people. Everybody is on the phone. It's kind of funny. Not everybody, but it's great. All right. So what didn't I ask you, man? Like what did I miss here? What should I have asked you?
Look, I mean, why are people actually talking about LinkedIn? I mean, it's a platform that's been around for 18 years, right? So what's the difference? People think of it's a platform, I'm going to go to get a job, but it's a shift. I mean, dude, there are right now on average, people don't leverage LinkedIn because they don't understand what it's for, other than they go, oh, well, that's where I put my resume. It's not anymore. I mean, of course it is. It's definitely one of the most powerful pieces on the platform for recruiters, but the average person, there's 800 million people on the platform, but really only about 1% of those people actually post online on a regular basis. So the ability to be able to go viral and be able to get access, because there's over 9 billion content impressions weekly on LinkedIn. So 3 million people roughly are getting access to 9 billion impressions every single week. And people don't realize that. And that's just really touching the edge of what it is, because, David, we talk about search engines, right? Like you've got Google as the main search engine, Pinterest is a search engine, YouTube is a search engine. Well, LinkedIn as well is a search engine as well too, because it's highly indexed on Google. So like by putting your profile, rocking that out, making sure your profile is fully done, putting content out there, which is indexed now on Google, putting out great articles that even you can take from your own blog and then put them on LinkedIn, you won't get dinged. Like we know that you can't take your content and be able to take the same content and put it on Medium or somewhere else. Well, you can do that on LinkedIn and it'll get super indexed on Google. And now you're really getting visibility. That's what it's all about.
Love it, man. Let me see. Do we have any questions from any of our friends here in Clubhouse? Feel free. I see there's a couple hands raised. Let's see if we can get Matt up here. Well, Matt's coming up. What would you tell people? Like, I mean, listen, there's a lot, it's hard to do a lot of different things, right? Like, and it's just like, okay, now I got to add another thing to my day.
Yeah.
Would you tell somebody to invest like a certain amount of time every day? Should you say, hey, take 30 minutes and play around with the LinkedIn, or what would you tell someone?
I think people are missing out if they're not at least spending 30 minutes to an hour on LinkedIn every day. I mean, like at least Monday through Friday, because, Mike, I mean, like if you've got a product or service, especially in the higher end, average income on LinkedIn, if you look at Twitter, it's around $58,000 a year. Google's around $64,000 a year. Average income on LinkedIn is around $120,000 a year. I want to make sure I'm in an audience that not only can afford the products and services that I offer, but at the same time, you have more business owners and decision makers on that platform only using LinkedIn. Yeah. So not only can they afford it, they can actually make the decision to be able to work with you. So like if you're not paying attention to that, like you can be on every platform you want, but if people can't actually afford your services and can't make the decision to be able to do it, what are you actually doing on that platform?
Amen. Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. I think a lot on Clubhouse, although it's cool and a lot of buds, and we've done okay.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people aren't expecting to invest in stuff on Clubhouse. I think in LinkedIn the expectations may be different. Do you agree with that, or
I do? I mean, look, some of our friends here that run big rooms and be able to do that, their average monetization is anywhere from $7 to $10 a month for really big group coaching. I mean, that's the biggest monetization I see on Clubhouse.
$7 to $10 a month.
Yeah, I mean, you look at John Lee, he does $7 a month. Yeah. I mean, we've got Emily Lyons, she does around I think it's like $7 or $10 a month. I mean, that's what they're paying, and that's the average monetization. I see that model work on Clubhouse. I don't see many others work.
I mean, I've got 47, but yeah, I don't. It's
not much higher than that. Yeah,
no, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's been okay. I won't complain, but yeah, it definitely. But I got a lot of buds on Clubhouse, so it's hard to. You start to build these relationships, and you got your buds.
Yeah, man, I'm always here. I mean, look, Matt just jumped up on stage too. Him and I are, good friends, so it's always going to be able to see him too.
All right, awesome. Well, let's open it up. Let's we've got about 10 minutes or so. Who has a question for Mr. Joshua B. Lee? Give me a mic flash if you have a question. All right, Matt, thank you. Hey, and also we have Matt and then Sri. So we'll go Matt first.
Yeah, so the question I have, and I appreciate y'all having up here, is obviously with like other platforms, you can go in and create a calendar around your business. Obviously, there is a human-to-human relationship, but as a business owner, are there tricks to leveraging LinkedIn that without utilizing a third party to create stuff a month in advance? And drive people to the platform, whether you're doing an audio or Facebook Live or is what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
And drive traffic around the business, video or Facebook Live, or is what.
Yeah, Matt. I mean, there's definitely ways. I mean, like you can use it for any events. I mean, like LinkedIn invested really Microsoft, but they invested for LinkedIn. They invested $50 million in a hybrid. Because they're betting on that in a virtual workspace, and that's where they're going to be able to see that go. LinkedIn events is becoming more and more powerful every single day. Now, for most events, you really want to take that 2 to 3 weeks to be able to kind of build, opportunity to be able to go in there. But posting the content, being able to tag people, we run events for our clients every single month. That's one of a big part of what we do for our clients, to be able to go through and drive, anywhere from 100 to up to 500 new people and registrants every single month of people they haven't had access before, right? We're not just reusing email lists over and over and over again that we've done over the last 10 years. So, the way to be able to do it is, you want to be able to create your event. You want to create your event on your company page. And then you want to give yourself 3 to 4 weeks to be able to build the momentum and then have people, right? Like if David and I were going to be doing an event, I would also add David as a speaker on there. And then I'm actually going to train David on how to be able to invite his following on LinkedIn to be able to join the event as well too. Because with every event, and the reason why we have 3 to 4 weeks, Matt, is because each speaker for the event, no matter if it's audio, if it's an in-person event, if it's an online event, because you want to drive to a Zoom, each speaker gets up to 1,000 invites a week. So when you have that, like I have over 30,000 followers on LinkedIn, I can actually go through and I can invite up to 3,000, 4,000 people to be able to join that event when I go in. Now I add another speaker. Now I can add another couple thousand going in there. And so that's the best way to be able to do it. And when you run it on your company page, not only are you inviting the event to be able to show up, you're also being able to do lead generation because it gives you their name, their position, their company, and you're able to collect their email. So now I can do drip campaigns before and after the event as well. Does that make sense?
I love that.
Matt, did that help?
Well, thank
you, Caroline. And
there he is.
So let me take a copy of it for you.
All right, Matt. Well, thank you for the question. Sounds like you got some stuff going on in the background. And I also see Shri. Looks like Shri also had a question. So is it? I hope I'm saying Shri. Hopefully, I'm saying it right. Shri, you there, sir?
You are saying it right. Thank you so much, David. Thanks for the great opportunity. It was a wonderful session, David, Joshua. So my quick question to Joshua is, I'm somebody who's actually taking baby steps towards increasing my LinkedIn network. It doesn't matter what kind of content I put. I get thousands of views, but hardly any response. Is there, may not be a foolproof way, but are there any 10 steps to success kind of way to improve my LinkedIn reach?
Yeah.
So it's not just people watching my content or viewing my content, but also reacting and sharing.
Well, Shri, how are you? Here's the whole piece, right? You got to be able to give, you got to condition them, right? They're conditioning to look at your content, but are you conditioning them to be able to look for those hits of dopamine, right? Like I talked about in the beginning, I always, whenever I draw my audience in, I'm wanting to, one, draw the right audience in. So I'm identifying those people, I'm engaging on their content, and they're getting those hits of dopamine. And when I engage on their content, they like that. They're going to engage on mine. At the same point, when people like or comment on my content, I reach out and I send them a personal message. Hey, Shri, thank you so much for engaging my recent post, man. I just want to say thank you, right? Always starting with that level of appreciation to be able to get them to continue to want to come back for those hits of dopamine, because we all get it when someone says thank you. Like I'm sitting on this podcast with David, right? I'm like, dude, David, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. That makes them feel good, right? When we have those things. So it's the same piece. So the biggest thing that most people messed up on LinkedIn is they played Pokemon on LinkedIn, right? They tried to collect them all. And that's really the whole piece, right? They went through and hit every single button every time someone sent them a connection request. Well, are those people really that are going to engage in your content? Probably not. So what you want to be doing is you want to actively draw the people in that are your ideal audience. That's where you're using Sales Navigator, identifying those people that would be the right audience that your content speaks to. And then you're engaging with them first, you're liking, commenting, then inviting them to connect. And then that starts building that engagement engine. The average engagement rate on LinkedIn is a little bit under 1% right now. Now, our clients, because of how we do this and how I actually teach, we've got an event coming up on social audio influencers, I think March 24th. You can check it out on LinkedIn, but our people get anywhere from 8 to 10% engagement ratios on their content. So because we're constantly going through and teaching and doing, right? I'm giving first, David, I'm conditioning these people to continue to come back in. And that's the whole piece. And, and Shri and David, this is when you're reaching out, right? When someone looks at my profile, someone engages on my content, or I find my ideal client putting out content, I'm always doing those things that my mom taught me how to be able to do, right? Just doing it online. I'm appreciating someone first. Hey, thanks for looking at my profile. Thanks for engaging my content. Thanks for posting great content. And that's how I'm connecting and drawing these people in. And then we just continue to be able to do that. And your engagement rate, and when you put the right content out, don't hashtag stuff. mean, I could sit here for an hour talking about how to be able to post out great content and be able to get engagement, but reach out to me, Sheree, on LinkedIn, man. I put a ton of content, ton of information on there daily on how to be able to post and the best ways to be able to do that.
Awesome. So so thank you, Sheree, for the question as well. Again, we do have a hard stop at 12:45 Eastern. I do want to let people know as well, follow the club, Breakfast with Champions. They have rooms starting every morning, weekday at 5 a.m., including Saturdays. Also, I posted a link up top for real estate agents. We have a challenge starting. It's in 2 hours and 20 minutes. If you're into real estate, you want to do a 5-day challenge with us, go out there and find some listings. Feel free to click on that link and you can see what's there. If that works for you, join us. We'd love to have you. That said, what is the best way, Joshua, for people to get in touch with you?
Surprise, surprise. I'm going to tell you to find me on LinkedIn, right? David, look for me, Joshua B. Lee on LinkedIn. You guys can also go to my website, standoutauthority.com. But seriously, David, what I love when people reach out, tell me, hey, I heard you talking with David on Path to Mastery, and send me a personal message on how you heard about me or why you're reaching out. And let's start a connection and build a relationship.
Absolutely. So final thought I'm curious, like, what's your biggest takeaway, a minute or less from the South by Southwest, when the crypto convention you were at?
I'm going to tell you right now, South by Southwest was just here in Austin. The entire thing is all around NFTs, blockchain, crypto. I'm very blessed that I just got approved for my own creator coin. I'm going to be launching that here soon. So David, that's the whole piece. If you're not paying attention to what's going on in disruption and, really, really where this world's going, every single company, from the small entrepreneurs to the biggest companies here, are offering NFT, from Fox to Bear Paint to, I was at, Warner Brothers, right? Being able to Samsung, everyone's launching and getting into the NFT space. So everyone better pay attention, because that's going to be a big shift that we're going to see over this next year. It's not just a conversation we're having here on Clubhouse.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Maybe we can have another conversation on that, not too far off. And so final thought, what do you want everybody to take from, listening today? If there's one thing you want people to walk away with, what would you say that is?
The biggest thought I want everyone to understand is, when you're trying to be able to connect, be human, be you. Remember the you and human, because that's what matters. And when you're educating, inspiring, and drawing people in, overselling them all the time, I truly promise you that's going to be able to create a bigger, lasting impression in someone's life and create more opportunity for you.
Well, I appreciate you, sir. Thank you for doing this. And look forward to a lot more of this.
No worries. Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, sir.